Self-publishing tips, lessons, strategies discussed for today, okay, is the importance of building a brand, building an overall brand. So, in the past, I think people focus on just finding hot niches, hot keywords, create a book, use a pen name, and publish it, and then look for another hot niche and completely have unrelated products with different pen names, managing multiple author names and pen names, multiple niches. So it becomes kind of like each book does not help one another. So what I found out over time is that if you look at the big publishing brands, big publishing companies like you name it, like for dummies, complete idiot's guide, um, all kinds of publishing brands, everything guide, they always have their publishing brands. Even the New York Times, I looked at a New York Times, I bought a reference guide, and it's not just called, New York Times. Uh, it's not just called a reference guide or encyclopedia. They always have their brand in the title. They put it in the beginning of the title because they want to always let the customers in the marketplace know about them, about their brand, about their name, about who they are, to distinguish themselves from every other generic guide similar to that topic. So you could publish in any topic, but if you have a brand, over time, what's going to happen is that each book that you publish becomes an advertisement for your overall brand to sell more and more books. So even if you have a book that doesn't have, you know, high demand, it may have a lot of competition, what you're going to realize is, you know, and it may be very difficult to rank. What you're going to realize if you have a brand and if you've been consistent in being a publisher for many, many years, you're going to realize people are going to trust your book, whatever topic it is, because of who you are, of your brand, because you have um, a body of work throughout the years of publishing showing proof of high quality, 5-star review books you've been producing, and people have been satisfied. So every time you come up with another book, they trust. Oh yeah, every time they come up with another book, it's high quality, it's legit. The content is great. It's really helpful, and I want to get it. So don't just focus on finding hot niches. That's great in the beginning. Don't don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with like finding hot niches, finding hot keywords. If find it, if you're great at it, keep developing that craft and working on it and become better at it and ultimately create high quality content and books and products in that niche. But what I'm saying is that to take it to another level is to, on top of uh, creating quality books in multiple different hot niches, you want to add an extra element to the book. If you just publish a hot niche, that's what every other publisher is doing, okay, independently. Okay, the everyday publisher is doing that. If they published a book on basketball, it's going to be called, how to play basketball for beginners or something like that, or basketball 101. Excuse me. Right. So my point is that what's important is that instead of just calling it a typical basketball for beginners or whatever type of basketball, why not have a brand and incorporate the brand into the title? For example, for Dummies Guide, it's called Basketball for Dummies. Whatever the topic they have, it's always called For Dummies at the end. The title includes their company, their brand name. So now every time they have a book, over time they're going to have a collection of books, hundreds, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of titles they have under their brand. And each book that gets published, even if it doesn't sell, it's an extra advertising tool in the marketplace to let them know about, hey, we got a brand about this topic. We got a book about this topic, this brand. Our brand has a book on this topic as well. You might not want that topic, but you realize, oh, I've seen that brand before. They have a topic on this too. Oh, I'll get this. I've seen them before. Through exposure, multiple exposure, they're gonna the marketplace, the world is gonna start to trust your brand more over the generic brand. Okay, you're gonna have a name. If you take medication, for example, some medications are generic. Some medications have a brand name. The brand name is more expensive, higher quality. It's not higher quality. It's usually the same quality, but it's because of the brand, because of the name. Just like Nike, it's not that different than any other tennis shoe or basketball shoe, but because of the brand name, you can price it up higher. People actually want to buy it more. They trust it more. They feel like they know you, connect with your brand, and they want to buy from you because they trust you and because you've been proven through track record. You've shown a track record of publishing high quality books if you do it the right way. So that's my thoughts on you know building a publishing company and focusing on building a brand, emphasizing on the brand. I never really thought about this. I mean, I when I first got started, like there wasn't YouTube out there, there wasn't any teachers out there teaching this. A lot of people who did teach this, like later on after I came in with before gurus, they were teaching just find a niche and create a pen name and so forth. But what I did was like if you look at, for example, Entrepreneur Press, how I got started was looking at that publishing brand and modeling it. They had a series of how-to guides about business in all kinds of industries. The entrepreneur startup guide to starting a barbershop, to starting a wedding business, to starting a whatever type of business, freelancing business, writing business, ghostwriting business, internet marketing business, e-commerce business, Amazon business, eBay business. And in the bottom, it says Entrepreneur Press and the writer's name, the expert's name, the author's name. So they were not just branding the author, they were also branding the brand. So I saw how powerful that was. And every time you clicked on the author name for Entrepreneur Press, you will see a collection of their entire list of books on Amazon, for example. You know, so you want to have a publishing brand for your title, and as an author name, you want to use your publishing brand. You know, that's what I say. That's I wish someone taught that. I started doing that from the get go. Like in terms of author name, I always had my publishing brand name, and I incorporated the writer's name. I never use a ghostwriter's name, but I use the the real writers' names because I always hired the freelancers to write about their number one real expertise that they have real life experience in. So I wrote their real life name, and they love that, most of them, and that's how I got to have a lot of people buy my core, no, buy my write for my publishing brand for a lot lower cost. A lot of times people spend thousand up to $1,000, $700. That's why I hear 600, 500, 600, 700 to $1,000 to hire writers. Yeah, they hire content, maybe 30,000 words. I do about 25,000 words, but for me, 25,000 words, I pay around 250 to 300, almost 99% of the time. If they're not willing to accept that, I'm willing to bump up the offer $50 up higher and higher, maybe up to $500 max. But I don't pay up to $1,000. Okay, because when you hire ghostwriters, a lot of ghostwriters, they just care about money. They don't focus on credibility. They don't care. They don't get any benefit from writing for you. They just want to get paid, and I don't blame them. Of course they don't, because you're not crediting their name. But the other way to save money, to give a win-win situation, an opportunity to have a way to hire writers in a cheaper way, is to offer them another valuable asset value to them. On top of the whatever rate or lower rate, you give them an opportunity to write their name on the book, as a co-author opportunity with your brand. So it's a win-win situation. The writer gets credited. They're now an author. And once you're an author for life. They can put that in their resume. They're branded as an author expert in their niche industry. That gives them more opportunities to get more jobs as a freelancer, as a writer, as someone in in their industry that they wrote, the topic that they wrote about, et cetera, et cetera. So That's why it's so important to focus on building a brand. On top of that, I just recently, I was looking at an encyclopedia. I bought this reference type of guide by New York Times a couple years ago at a used bookshop. It was like a very thick book. It's like one of the biggest books out there, right? Like a reference guide. It's like a New York Times guide to everything. So it explains a little bit about everything. And that's kind of what my brand is as well. I have how-to guides, for all topics from A to Z, okay, by everyday experts. And I noticed their book started with their brand, New York Times Guide to Everything. Now, I don't remember the exact title, but I do remember it had their company, their brand name in the title, in the beginning of the title. The New York Times Guide to Everything. And that's when it clicked to me. I was like, you know what, man? It clicked a couple times. Like that was an idea. And then on top of that, one of the writers I hired, she, you know, she wrote the title, My Brand Name's Guide to, in her topic, in her the content she wrote for me. So I had an idea, and it was confirmed by looking at New York Times, and the New York Times guide was New York Times Guide to Everything or something like that. So I had my brand, my brand guide to, and then I put in the topic. And I started doing that about a year and a half ago or a year ago, and I published about 1 to 2 books a month. That's my rate. That's my current rate. I love to do 52 books in 52 weeks, but that's not at this current pace right now. I'm at about 1 to 2 books a month. But so far, I've really been happy with the results. Every time I publish a book, it's not a typical generic book that I'm competing with hundreds of publishers, thousands of publishers with the same similar title and nothing that differentiates from other people. It's not like a book called Basketball 101, Basketball for Beginners, like every other publisher does. Now I have my brand name, Guide to Basketball, and I put subtitles maximizing with niche keywords, SEO keywords for search purposes and relevance as well. So those are some random thoughts I wanted to share in this channel about online business, internet marketing, self-publishing, just documenting my journey and my thoughts, on the importance of, building a publishing business, focusing on your brand. Okay. Now, if you want to learn more, I go into more depth and detail about this strategy through through my online course or my coaching programs, done for you services, and et cetera, et cetera. So if you're interested in learning more in depth from me, click the link below. Check out my resources, man. I'm serious. I can help other people start their publishing business. You know, jump over the hurdles that I had to go through and not have to make the mistakes I went through. Okay. So thanks for watching. Click the link below. Check out the resources. Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon in the next video. Okay. Take care. Bye.